Everyone know in advance, this meeting is going to be recorded. So, just letting everyone know, once again, this meeting is going to be recorded, and it's already being recorded. So, before we start, I just wanted to let everyone know that so there's no surprises, as the last meeting was recorded as well. So, hello everybody, my partners and Big Entertainment. Thank you for coming to the ESM meeting. Today's date is April 30th, and the time is 5 o'clock. We're going to be starting the meeting at this time. Obviously, we all know the topic, as the topic for the last meeting was the same thing. It is going to be regarding Rhianna and, basically the whole thing in general. Big Entertainment has been invited to join this meeting, as I believe that they should have the right to discuss it with us, since Big Entertainment was affected about this. So I kind of want to just give it off to Jen, since I believe Jen knows what she's been talking about. In case you guys are not aware, Jen has been involved with quote-unquote the Alliance and basically all of us for around 4 years now. So any information she provides to you guys, she knows what she's talking about, as she has been around Rhianna herself after the cancel. So she basically knows what she's talking about, and I believe my partners can, butt in if they have any concerns and want to also, just say their remarks about anything and back Jen up. So, Jen, the floor is yours.
Okay, so many of you really don't know me, but I like to use humor at times, so please forgive me. But I think it lightens things up a little bit. And I just have to say, hear ye, hear ye. The Honorable Nick has now joined to overhear the Rhianna hearings and commence with these trials. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like a trial. It feels like something bigger than I've ever seen you guys be involved in before. So I just want to see if everybody can be their most respectful. Like, let's be as mature as possible. That goes for me. That goes for Big. That goes for anybody that's going to have something to say at the end. But first, I just wanted to say, hey, Big, how you doing?
Hello, how are you? What the hi, Spiral, or not Spiral, Cammy. Hi.
What?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Turn off his camera, please.
Yeah, let's just all mute. I don't know why Starbucks got a camera, but the less that we see coming up on the screen, I mean, honestly, that's usually not very helpful in situations like this. That's usually just a lot of instigating and shit stirring. So everybody just push their keyboard away for a few minutes, okay? I just wanted you to know, Big, that I've heard that you can be difficult to talk to. And I've heard that you do like to talk over people, cut people off, change subjects, kind of control the conversation. But I'm going to, in order for this to accomplish anything, you and I definitely need to be the ones having this talk without any interruptions from anybody else. Since you're 17 years old and I know teenagers don't like being treated like little kids, I'm going to give you the most respect I can and talk to you the same way that I would an adult. I would appreciate that same respect in return. I do have a reputation for getting heated, when I'm passionate about something, but you have my word that, I'm going to try to stay calm. I'm going to try to not lose my shit. And I really, really hope that you do the same, because, this is really important. And my main, motive is I want you to hear everything that I have to say. And I want everybody on here to hear everything that I have to say. So if there's any word that I use, or if I say anything that you don't understand, Big, please just stop me and ask me to explain what I mean by that. I'm not going to consider that an interruption at all. I definitely want to hear some feedback if you have concerns or questions. But for the most part, I really need you to just hear me out and try to understand what I'm trying to explain to you, okay?
Yes, I understand. We are here for everyone to share their side, and everyone should have that opportunity. It should not be a one-sided discussion.
Okay, obviously I'm going to try to appeal to your better senses here, My goal is to give you a lot to think about. That's my goal. Now, I think I should be the one to speak first, because ladies first, right? But I'm going to be honest. I'm hoping that after you hear me out, that it might actually change some of what you may be planning to say. I honestly don't want you to say anything you might regret. That's another reason why I want to go first, because if you hear me completely out, I promise you, I will really listen to what you have to say. And, I'll do the same for you all the way. I'll listen to every word that you've got to say. But I have to admit, I do have a lot to cover. So, not just to you, but to everyone here that's listening. I have a lot to say. I will try to go quickly, but I feel it is important to pick my words wisely and try to understand, if you guys can understand that if I speak slowly, it's because I'm trying to be thoughtful about what I'm saying. This will go 100 times quicker if everyone agrees to not interrupt you and I, Big. This is our moment to have this conversation. Everybody else can write down notes about their thoughts or questions that they want to cover when you and I are done. One thing I want to let you know about me, Big, is, I not only can I get heated and passionate about something, but, I am extremely serious about treating each other with mutual respect. You should know that I cannot stand to not be heard or have my words taken into consideration. I've put a lot of time and effort into, thinking about what I want to say to you. I don't tolerate any kind of lying. That's a deal breaker for me. If this conversation goes off the rails because all of a sudden it's not based on truth anymore, it's based on lies, that for me, that I'm not going to have an argument or a conflict with someone when there's, it's not based on truth. So please just be as truthful and as honest as you can. Okay.
Trust me, I am here to simply
Okay.
give the facts as they are, and that is it.
Okay. So do your best to hang tight. Give me time to speak, and then I'll actually ask you a couple questions along the way. Just try to answer them the best that you can. If you're not prepared to answer them and you don't feel comfortable answering them, that's fine. You can wait till the end, and then if you want to revisit those questions, you can. But if anyone here needs to leave before Big and I are done talking, they are welcome to leave. Like Swag said, this is going to be recorded. I'm sure it's going to be talked about. It's going to probably spread like wildfire throughout the community. But I really need a commitment from you, Big, that you're in this till the end of the conversation. Okay,
I am very much in here for the long haul.
Don't flip out and just say, screw this, I don't want to talk to her. Like I said, I like to use humor some, so, try to have a sense of humor, as well, because, obviously that's a good way to kind of, deal with things when they're heavy and they're hard. But, anyway, so the way I feel about this is I feel like we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. But I just want to let you know, Big, either way, we're doing this. And it's not because I say so, and it's not because you say so. It's because Rhianna is ready. Now, I know that you have your objections to, giving her this opportunity to come back to the community, but I want you to know that it is happening with or without your blessing. She has done everything necessary to rehabilitate herself. The work that she needed to do on herself has been a combination of self-reflection, accepting her deeply flawed character and personality, feeling sincere sense of remorse and devastation for those people that she's hurt and harmed. And then she had to find a way to reshape her behavior to restore her self-esteem and forgive herself. Now that she has done all that, she is able to ask for forgiveness from others and try to make amends to people. She has wanted to apologize and have conversations with people prior to this moment, but she knew that if she came out too soon or in the form of a letter just addressed to everyone, it would be disregarded as a repeat of past apologies. And it would not come across as sincere, heartfelt, and it would not be a true acknowledgement of her remorse for her actions towards others. Now listen, I don't know you, but I know a lot about you, Big. Your reputation has not been and is not squeaky clean. You have had a lot of issues in this community, have you not?
I would not say my time in the community has been pleasant.
Okay, so you're human, basically. And I get that. And I appreciate that. I know that that you have not been perfect, and you are not, you're just, you're just like anybody else. You're learning as you go. And I have a lot of respect for that. Now, Big, would you say that you treat people fairly and with respect in this community?
I say that as my goal is to treat everyone with the same respect as I would to anyone else.
Do you think that you are well liked in this community, or do you think that you are somewhat tolerated by certain people?
I think there are, of course, the people who simply tolerate me and those who despise me, but it is what it is. Not worried about it.
So you understand what that feels like, to not be able to please everybody, to not be able to rehabilitate some of the stuff that you've done in the past.
I'm very aware of some issues, yes.
It's hard to earn back people's trust, right? It's hard to, it's hard to repair things once they're broken. Now, do you want your peers to hold you in a high regard, or do you not really care how you're perceived?
Listen, my job here is to give an open and welcoming to anyone who wants it. That's the only reason I'm here.
Would you like to be more well-liked and more respected?
If people don't like me, people are not going to like me. That's not my concern.
Okay. So
I've done what I've needed to do to attempt to make people like me, but I cannot force that upon them.
Do you feel like you're not a work in progress anymore, that you've achieved your highest potential as being respectable and kind and fair to people?
I'm not saying there's not more work to be done. All I'm saying is I consider myself a decent human being.
Okay. Because you only know what you know, right? Whatever you've been exposed to in life is all you know. You don't really know to do better unless you learn, what that means. You know what I mean? As you grow and you mature, you get it. So anyway, I just want to tell you, Rhianna is extremely serious about what her peers think of her. She can no longer accept that all of her relationships and friendships have been broken, damaged, and toxic. She's determined to advocate for herself and over time do everything she can to prove with her actions and her words that she is transformed. She knows she may not be able to convince everyone to want to give her that chance, but she understands that only her actions and time can truly give people the information to base their decision on. But she also knows that she deserves the chance to prove to the ones who want to give her the benefit of the doubt and begin to trust and believe her. Big, if you decide that you would rather hesitate than have faith that people do change, then you can do that. But you are ultimately the one that's going to be missing out. It will be your loss, not hers. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you, yes.
Okay, we're having a little technical difficulty.
No, it's not. It's just sleep mode.
All right, so I just wanted to say, Rhianna has a lot to share now. She's feeling great. She hasn't been this well-adjusted mentally and physically since she was a kid. She is smiling instead of feeling dreadful and full of doom on a regular basis. Her mother has even made comments that she hasn't seen Rhianna smile this much since she was, young. And that's huge. When your own parent can't believe the transformation that's taken, place right before their eyes, that's saying something. She has the energy now and the motivation to prove her worth to everyone. She has the confidence now to know she is not going to slip back into her old ways. Not only has she been a completely different person this whole year and a half, but in the last 2 months, Big, she has hit rock bottom. And as a last resort for herself, she was seen by doctors to determine a treatment for her severe depression. That's pretty brave, and that's pretty bold, and that deserves some respect. Luckily, within the first try of picking out a treatment, she has been freed from her former self in a complete and total overhaul mentally. That's not very common. When you treat any kind of a brain imbalance, it can take 8 to 10 years on average for people to get the right medication in the right dose and then have some success from it, because it's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're not in years of therapy and, talking to a psychologist or whatever. Sometimes it's very difficult to get it right the first time. But anyway, now that she does have a more balanced brain chemistry, it allows her to be less obsessive, compulsive, and depressed. She can actually respond rationally and sympathetically in situations and towards other people. It's like there are guardrails now in her head. It's like having bumper guards in the gutter when you go bowling. She can't go off the rails at a moment's notice without even being provoked or just lash out at people in an aggressive and insensitive way. Now, yes, her medication is a huge part of her recovery, but I'm not going to lie. The Claret Crawford eye vision bullshit and the cancel video drove her over an edge, and it forced her to rethink every single thing she has ever done or ever said to people over the last 5 years. It turned out to be a very enlightening and humbling experience for her. It was a long process. She had daily thoughts and emotions that she needed to work through, and it was work. It was very hard work for her to do that. She had to reveal a pretty full list of lies that she has told over the years, and that is not easy to do. She had to admit to using awful and unacceptable words, insults, and derogatory statements towards people. She had to remove learned behaviors and words completely out of her vocabulary. She has realized how important it is to not be influenced, to speak or act in any manner that she doesn't see as up to her new standard of decency. She was constantly influenced by the people she was hanging around with. And then also the lack of parental guidance in her life was also a huge influence. She had to grow up a lot, and she had to mature enough to recognize her own childish behavior. Now, she hasn't got the exposure, to life the way you and I have, or, most people in this chat has. No one has ever walked in her shoes, Big. No one in this entire world knows what it's like to be Rhianna. She is the only one who could dismantle years worth of depression and pressure and stress, deceit, high drama, bad behavior, unbearable amounts of stress. I mean, she had to examine every aspect of her life to face it head on and find clarity. And then she had to have a lifeline to get beyond it. Now, as you know, she had a small handful of friends throughout this journey. I can 100% honestly say that if it had not been for those people that stood by her side and giving her enough support to have the will to make this transformation, she would have fallen into such a dark, depressive state that no one knows if she would have even been alive at this point. She was a broken, hopeless, and irredeemable lost cause in her own mind. She had zero reasons to think she could ever be forgiven or forgive herself. It took the whole year and a half for her to slowly but surely process everything and try to learn how to accept what she cannot change and find a way to allow herself some grace. What she could change, she did. She found a way to get self-esteem, gain some self-respect, and rehabilitate herself. Now, I know your history with Rhianna, Big, so I believe your relationship, your resentment and anger for her is not just a simple level of, disdain. It's a bit more complicated for sure. There was a personal level of disappointment, distrust, and disillusionment that you had with her. You have actually had very similar experiences, you and her, and you've been through closely related traumas, or so it seems to me. Being canceled is a common experience for the two of you, right?
I guess if you'd like to compare our twos, yes, you could say they were similar.
You kind of know what that feels like, though.
Yes, I do know what it feels like to lose everything.
Okay. So when you were, let me ask you this. Why do you think you were let back into the community after you were canceled?
I was let back into the community because certain aspects of my cancellation were proven to be false.
Okay, so you don't think you should have ever been banned or canceled?
I still stand by the fact that the video was unnecessary.
Do you think that you were canceled just because people were, tired of dealing with you, and maybe it wasn't based on an accusation? It was more based on just wanting you to be out of the,
There were certain people who had resentment towards me who wished to have me removed. That is why I was canceled.
All right. Well, I just want you to let you know. Well, let me ask you one more question. Did you have to do a complete and total overhaul of your personality, your attitude, and character in order to come back? Or no?
I don't really think so. I've been about the same.
Okay.
Just went right back to what I was doing.
Those are your words, Big, not mine. About the same as when you left. I just want to let you know that Rhianna has done the work. She wants her actions to speak for themselves. She doesn't want to relive any drama, She doesn't want to cause any trauma to anyone. She just wants to repair anything that she can with anyone who will let her. Now, I don't control that, and you don't control that. And no one that I know of owns the right to say that she doesn't have the right to be heard, to be understood, and to be forgiven. I would like to ask you, what is your goal for this community, Big? What would you like to see these last few years? Because for some of these Roblox and Discord friends, these are their last few years in this community. So
I'm very aware that certain people are exiting. And yes, the goal is to create a welcome and safe community for anyone who wishes to join it.
Okay.
Since we are a child-facing community, one where children are attracted, it is our goal to create a safe environment for those children to grow up in.
Are you setting a good example for that kind of a goal? I mean, do you hold yourself at a high regard as far as respectability, and you're a good influence for those children?
Based on my actions in the community and how much work I do in real life around children, I do intend to create that environment. That has always been my goal.
Do you feel like at times you might have been a little short on that and fallen short?
I'm not saying I have been perfect constantly, but anytime I have not been perfect, I've made sure to address those issues and handle them appropriately.
Okay. Now, do you have any desired expectations for how you would like to see things be, on these two platforms, Roblox and Discord, or do you not really care what direction it goes in? Like, do you have, a desire to see any kind of kumbaya moment among people who have had years of, resentment and anger and grudges? Do you want to see some of that go away, or are you good with the drama?
Okay. As long as the people are kept separated, there is no issue of drama. That's never an issue.
What do you mean separated?
In the case of Rhianna, her cancellation, she was removed from the community. That has left all drama to not be an issue at all.
So no one's brought it up. As long as Rhianna is separated from the community, you're good to go.
I have not had an issue with this drama since. I mean, the only issue has been since she's attempted to come back. That's the only time there's been an issue.
Well, I definitely agree that the name Rhianna, came with the middle name drama. I totally get you. I hear you. I understand. I've been here for it. I have a son who's cried and, lost his shit many days, and usually the common denominator is Rhianna, so I get it. I know you're saying it hasn't been easy, but I just want you to know that Rhianna cares, and she cares a lot. She wants the next few years to be the best ones yet, not just for her, but for everyone. So, at least as many people as possible that have the same motivation and the same intentions as she does. I really do believe that if you try to sabotage this for her, Big, it shows your true colors, and it's not a good look. By you being reasonable and not being stubborn, trying to be part of creating a more functional community rather than a more hostile one, it helps to start revamping your image. Repair issues with people who aren't thrilled with you and and how you act or treat people. Because, Big, you need to work on your own character, and you need to focus on lifting people up instead of trying to keep people down. And I know you don't think I know anybody, but I actually do have conversations with a lot of these people. And, I feel like some of these people, they tolerate a lot because they're fearful. Not because they respect you, but because they're afraid of you. And then my question is always like, why? Like, what kind of power does Big have? And what I'm finding out is that you really don't have any power. You don't have any more power than anybody else. But
so then why would people fear me then?
Well, people fear you because you make your presence a miserable, situation for some. You're not exactly making it easy on certain people from day to day. I mean, I think you really need to check yourself and look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I the best person that I plan on being? You need to understand that all of you have very little time left to revamp your personalities and reputation. And I really truly believe that it can be done. I believe if everybody takes responsibility for themselves and has higher standards for themselves, that everybody could actually probably get along. Now, I want you to know, imagine how incredible the majority of this community would be, or the Roblox, entertainment development or creative team would be, if everyone did their absolute best to be fair to each other, to be respectful to each other, and to be kind to each other. Now, it's possible. It is possible, Big. It doesn't have to be a horrible, toxic, and hostile environment. Everyone doesn't have to be so competitive, so jealous, so possessive, and miserable to each other. With some cooperation, all of you could learn to get along to some level of civility and benefit from each other's talents and strengths. Now, why wouldn't you want that for everyone? If you thought that Rhianna was going to be an active member and making sure that's what happens, why wouldn't you want that for the community?
Because I don't think Rhianna is going to be that active member.
Okay,
I've seen her attempt these changes
Okay.
before, and she's always fallen back on them.
Okay,
It's been a constant issue.
I understand that. But what I'm asking you to do, Big, is I'm asking you to consider for one moment that over a year and a half of time, that someone as broken as Rhianna has taken a change of heart and done the work necessary and even gotten on medication, which is what all of you were saying for 2 years straight prior to the cancel, saying she needs to get help, she needs to get therapy, she needs to be put on medication. Well, she did. And she's a different person now because of it. And I don't want you to miss out on that, Big. I really don't. I genuinely care. Trying to push back on Rhianna's redemption tour is like trying to hold on to the idea that she can't be trusted, she can't be believed, she couldn't possibly have seen her shortcomings and changed her ways. And that is a losing strategy, Big, because I am here to vouch for her. She absolutely is a different person now. You are not going to be able to stop people from experiencing her drastic metamorphosis. It's like trying to convince people that the sky is not blue. Her personality is so insanely different now, Big, that it was back, than it was back when you had interactions with her. You will be practically unable to believe it for yourself, even after you're around her. It's almost like witnessing a divine miracle. I mean, seriously. It's a bit surreal even for me to hear her talk and act and behave like a completely different person. But I want you to know, I 100% can vouch for her. Everything I am claiming is legit. I am a very honest, authentic, and dependable source. I would not even so much as exaggerate this declaration of her transformation. This is way too important for her to get this right. If she was not ready, Big, I would be the first person to acknowledge that and tell her myself that she has more work to do and she's got a long way to go. But Big, she doesn't. In fact, by her doing this right now, it will only catapult her into an even higher level of wellness. This is giving her a goal and a purpose and an objective. She wants to come back and she wants to be a good person. She wants to be a good influence on others. She wants to entertain people and make them happy. She wants to encourage and motivate people. She wants to inspire people. She wants to make as many friends as she can. She wants to share her talents and creativity with everyone. She wants to help others when she can. And hopefully she wants to teach and coach anyone who she can mentor along the way. She has a very few years left of having the time to dedicate to this. And she sees this as a possibly last hurrah for all of you. She wants to see it phase out with a lot of success and progress for everyone, not just her. Now look, Big, obviously life is short, right? And sometimes life can be even shorter than what you believe it to be. No one knows what tomorrow holds for any of us. Why not go out on a limb and have a little bit of faith and explore the possibility that not only has Rhianna really changed, but with a mutual respect and understanding, the two of you may be able to be friends again. But even if you don't, you can still show each other enough respect to remember you have both matured and, with age, you've both matured and most likely have both changed a lot since the bad old days. You could certainly be mature enough to stay out of each other's way. And if there's a problem that builds between the two of you, you could go forward, by both agreeing to communicate and work through things like young adults that you're supposed to becoming. Neither of you have been saints. Definitely both of you have been mistreated. You have mistreated people. You've cheated people. You've lied to people, manipulated people, stole, disappointed people. So if I had to take a guess, I would say Rhianna has changed more than you have. She has dedicated her entire existence to finding ways to improve herself over the last year and a half. She is getting medication to assist her to be someone who could control her extreme emotions, which was ultimately what caused her to act out, lie, steal, lash out, fling insults, cut people down, play God, and disrespect people. She is leveled out now. She has guardrails now, Big. Do you understand what I mean when I say she has guardrails?
I hear what you're saying, but...
Okay. Now, don't say but. Just listen for a minute. If you're not on medication yourself, maybe you can't relate to what I'm trying to explain here, but her medication has now made it impossible for her to not be level and to not be rational and to not be, thinking through her actions and her words before she uses them. She's like a refurbished classic car, Big, inside and out. She's totally repaired. She is no longer a broken, depressed, habitual liar who creates drama and leaving people in her path in pain. So please think about how this reflects on you. If you can't have any empathy for Rhianna and you have no forgiveness in your heart to her after giving her a moment to reintroduce herself to the community, then that's fine. But to try and deny her of even having that opportunity is ludicrous. You, of all people, should know how dangerous and unfair the cancel culture crap is. We are not intended as humans to be born perfect. We are all a work in progress. We are human. We all need, we will all fall short and falter from time to time. We have to know better to do better. We have to learn from the consequences from our mistakes. That is why there is a need for forgiveness in the world, so we can all meet our full potential in life. So, we get the chances necessary to grow into the respectable individuals that we're meant to be. There are no saints that walk this earth, Big, and we are all at each other's mercy when it comes to being heard, being forgiven, and given a chance to earn respect and trust. The retribution that Rhianna has suffered through the years has been enough. The community has gotten their revenge. Her time has been served. No more amount of time will give her more clarity and change than what she has right now. If you could please make a conscious, deliberate decision to release all of your feelings of resentment and vengeance that you have towards her. I know that she harmed you, Big, many times. But if you ask a psychologist, they will instruct you that forgiveness is something that you give someone who caused you pain, regardless of whether they actually deserve it or not. At least before you make your decision, Big, gather enough information and facts about her present day state of mind, her personality and her attitude before you just decide that you are somehow more worthy than her, that you are a better person than she is, that you know her enough to make this decision. It is critical that you judge her based on who she is now, because that's what everyone else is eventually going to do. And it is 100% undeniable that she is a completely different type of person now. She is actually very respectable and respectful. She could be a great example to others that people can learn to be better people, that we are not destined to be our worst mistake. Our lives are not meant to be judged by our worst moment. Show a little bit of empathy, and maybe someone will do the same for you if you should ever need it. You know how fickle this community is, Big. If you are caught making one misstep or mistake, you're either banished into non-existence or you are put through Discord trials to see if the people see that you're fit to return to your previous status. You never know when you're going to screw up again and need some understanding yourself. Now, please take the time to talk with Rhianna a little. Ask her if what I'm saying is true. I know it seems like I'm speaking for her, but I'm not. She has struggled she doesn't know anything that I'm saying. I have not covered any of this with her. This is just me pouring my heart out. These are the thoughts that I've had on my mind for years. She has struggled to put pen to paper, finding the words to express her sorrow, her regret, and her desire to make things right with people. She held it to such a high standard of importance that it paralyzed her. Nothing she could say or try to convey was good enough. Not a generic apology to the entirety of people. She knew it needed to be more personal and specific in order for it to be sincere. She didn't want to write an apology that sounded sincere. She wanted to give apologies that are sincere to each individual she affected with her behavior. Now, unless you have some valid objections that you think somehow give you the last word on her coming back, she's coming back. No one can determine that she's not. She is in control of her destiny, Big, not you. She is determined to prove that she is worthy of forgiveness and that she will not ever treat anyone in the ways that she treated people before. One more thing. When you thought you were canceled for good and had no friends, who did you reach out to, Big?
I reached out to Rhianna, which was then turned over back to the people who canceled me immediately by her.
Okay. You absolutely knew at that time she would be open to speaking to you. You knew she would not be cruel to you or hateful towards you. You knew that there is good in her. You have a lot of fear about the unknown and what ifs, but you have to know that she is not coming back with intentions of stirring up problems. She's coming back to help others heal from the pain and chaos that she caused. This is the best thing you can do for Rhianna and the community and you, Big. I'm extremely protective of Rhianna, and I am not going to let her chance just slip away. I will work night and day to convince whoever I need to that she deserves to be in this community just as much as anybody else does. Now, I don't know if you understand what this means to me, but on some level, I think it means more to me than it does Rhianna, because she has gotten so used to the idea, over the years that no one's ever going to give her a moment, to advocate for herself, because her voice has literally been ripped away from her. She cannot defend herself alone, which is why I'm trying to support her any way that I can. And I just really, really ask you, Big, from the bottom of my heart, try to imagine that the way she used to be is not the way she is now. She has had a complete and total transformation. And I don't want you to miss out on that, because Rhianna is smart, she's creative, she's funny, she can be helpful, and she is more humble now than she's ever been ever in her life. And I really do believe that you can benefit from being friends with her, and I really do believe that she will not disappoint you. I feel like there are certain people in this community that she knows that she's going to have to work extra hard to convince of these changes. And you're at the top of that list, Big, so you ought to be flattered by that she even cares, to try to convince you of that. So I'm going to go ahead and let you talk now, because I really do want to hear if you have any kind of, do you have any kind of feedback about what I'm saying to you right now? Do you feel like there's anything inside you that could possibly be softened up a little bit and convinced? Obviously it takes time, and by her actions and words are the only way to convince you. You really don't have anything to go on other than her old personality and her old ways. And Big, I'm telling you, I vouch for her. I would not be going to bat for her if she absolutely was not ready. Okay?
Yes, thank you once again for coming to this meeting. It's great to have some of that side of the argument. It's always great to hear both sides. And I don't
want it to be an argument. I just want us to hear each other's views on things. So you go ahead.
It's each other's views on the debate, yes. As I was about to say, you keep saying that Rhianna's gotten this help greatly, and you know what? That's wonderful. Great for her. The problem is that she's said that before. She's said it so many times. She has said this exact same thing. I'm going to get help. I'm going to change the way I'm doing things. So many times. At what point do we say it's enough? It's the boy who cried wolf situation where they are constantly saying, I will change, I will change, I will change. At what point do we just say, you're not going to?
Well, I agree. I think you guys have already done that. You've already accomplished that. Absolutely, Big. I agree with you. Trust me, there were times when I told my son, you are absolutely not hanging around with her. She's inappropriate. She's a liar. She likes to, throw people under the bus. I didn't have a very high opinion of her. I totally get what you guys have been put through. But what I'm saying to you is that although the boy cries wolf, and although the people say, I'm going to, it's just like in a relationship between a man and a woman. They fight their entire marriage because both sides are saying they're going to do something different. But people don't change that easily. It takes a lot of work to get there. And it takes a lot of time and dedication. And what I'm saying to you is you have my word, not just Rhianna's word. You have my word that she has done the work. The person that we're talking about is not the person that you used to know, Big. She was at rock bottom, and she had to lose everything in order to recognize the error of her ways.
And as well as the fact that she has said this before, you are saying that she's changed over the past year and a half. She's changed over the past year and a half. I'm now getting word from Cammy in the argument that was had in Shocks the other day that Cammy was with Rhianna up until, what, a month ago? And that Rhianna had not changed. So your argument here is that Rhianna has changed over the last month.
Okay, well, maybe Cammy needs to expand on that, because from my view, I can tell you this much right here. Cammy would have never spent a year and a half solid 24/7 on the internet with Rhianna if she hadn't changed. Trust me on that. And Sidewalk has a reason to say that Rhianna hasn't changed, because he's the holdout. He's the one that wants to say, if she comes back, then I'm leaving. And that's nothing but manipulative and immature, because Rhianna was at a high enough standard for a year and a half for Sidewalk to be her best bud. And when I say best bud, I mean it meant enough to him to keep it a secret from all of you. So if you think Rhianna was in any way a horrible person over the year and a half, I got news for you. The only person that changed and was for the worse was Cammy. Cammy didn't change for the better. I don't know if anybody on here has noticed, but Sidewalk's not the same person he was prior to the cancel. And it's not like he went and did work on himself and got to a better place. And I'm sorry to say, but ever since Sidewalk got his hair cut off, his ego has been a bit out of control. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but his shit doesn't stink. I don't think so. I have enough proof to tell you that he was pretty miserable. He was pretty hateful. He could be rude, insensitive, inconsiderate. And he did some things in that last month that basically pissed everybody off. And that's why he left, because he was no longer the person they thought he was. So he can leave for a month after a year and a half, and he can cry, oh, I was so disrespected and treated so badly. But Big, I'm telling you right now, the only person who didn't have any empathy or self-control or respect for others was Sidewalk.
Okay, but here's
my
Yes,
mistake
okay.
for interrupting you guys. I wanted to say something regarding that, because I don't want it just to be a one-side Cammy says and that's what we all believe. Because I was around Rhianna, and I've still been around Rhianna. I've been around Rhianna since 2 months after the cancel. And Big, you and I both know very well, we've kind of had experiences with Rhianna that have not been the most positive whatsoever. And we've both been affected by how she has treated both of us, frankly. And there's been times where I've had to sit there and cry straight to Rhianna just to get forgiveness, or blame myself or take fault for something that wasn't really my fault. And I will sit here and tell you, no matter how much you think I make stupid decisions, or no matter how much you believe that I don't think before I say something, or I don't, consider certain things, that Rhianna has changed. Just like Jennifer has said, I've sat here and watched it for over a year now, and she has greatly improved. She is not the same person she was. And I believe you. I've sat here and watched her apologize and apologize and apologize, blame others to not take fault for what she's done. And I'm sitting here and tell you right now that I've watched it for hours on end, being in calls with her, including Cammy himself, that she has sat there and take fault for stuff she has done.
Accountability.
Taking accountability
Yeah.
for stuff she has never. You cannot tell me, and I cannot tell you, that 2 years ago, what she has taken accountability for, she would have taken accountability for. She is not the same person as she once was. The amount she has changed and improved herself, that she has the willingness to go individually to a lot of the people, I think all of the people in this VC she has spoken to, except you and Aaron, I believe, and Spiral. She has spoken to every single one of you in this VC, and Grim. She has spoken to every single one of you almost in this VC, apologized, and tried her very best to make amends with most of you. And that takes a lot of courage, to take accountability and say, I was wrong and I messed up and I was the one that caused this and I was really sorry. She fought in my DMs to try to contact Meister, and she felt extremely bad for how she treated Meister and how bad she almost pushed Meister to not wanting to frankly live anymore. She felt horrible about that.
And then I want to just say something real quick. You know, Big, there's more to taking accountability than just saying, you know, I screwed up, I was responsible, I have no one but to blame but myself. Another you know, journey for Rhianna over the last year and a half has been to try to figure out not just that she did horrible things, but why did she do horrible things? And one of the things that she refers to quite often is that she had way too much pressure on her. She was in a position that no one has walked in her shoes ever. Nobody knows what it was like to be Rhianna back in the day. And she admits that she wouldn't trade that, going back to that, for anything. She has no interest in being, you know, popular, powerful, or whatever you guys consider it in this, you know, scenario. That is not her goal whatsoever. She doesn't want that. She basically says that ruined her mental health. That she was treated in a way to where it fed that, you know, unhealthy need for her to, you know, show that she was somebody that she didn't even feel like she was. She was like an imposter, you know, to herself at that point. She knew she was acting a certain way to try to keep up, you know, this type of reputation that she had, and she's embarrassed about it, you know, and she's more than regretful, Big, and she has actually, you know, did enough work now to where she knows why she acted that way, you know, and to make sure that she doesn't fall into the same, you know, the same behaviors.
That's wonderful that she's identifying that there were problems, but you just also said that she knew what she was doing was wrong. So if she knew, or you just said that this job was such a mental, or her position in the community was such a mental health drain. But that's now pushing the blame onto the community and not herself.
No, I'm saying that when she was part of the community, she was put into a position to where it ruined her. She had an ego, and she allowed her ego to get the best of her, and it, you know, it's just like with power and money, Big. Look at our government. Look at celebrities. Look at the way people act when they get power, money, control, you know, a status, you know. It ruins you. You basically are not the same person. Very few people can stay grounded and stay humble. And what I'm telling you is she had to fall hard and she had to fall far in order to pick herself up and realize that that's not who she ever was anyway.
But you just said that her position in the community was the big stressor. Then why is she trying to come back? If the community was so terrible, why come back?
All right, well, let me answer that. It's not that the community was the big stressor. It was the fact that we're talking about someone who has autism. We're talking about someone who has a brain chemistry imbalance that was never diagnosed or treated. We're talking about someone who doesn't have any supervision from their parents. We're talking about someone who doesn't live the same, like, normal life that some of us have the benefit of living. We're talking about someone who was fragile and did things to try to build her self-esteem and her self-worth. And unfortunately, a lot of that was lying and deceiving people and manipulation. And what I'm saying to you is that we are all human, Big. You have made mistakes yourself. And just because someone makes mistakes, that doesn't mean that that mistake is what defines them for the rest of their life. And it shouldn't be that way. And for you to think that that should be something that keeps her away from the community, that she failed it so miserably, you know, at one point, that just shows me that you have your own motives on why you don't want her to come back. Because if you really cared about her at all, like you once did, you would be happy that she's gotten the help that she's needed. You would be, you know, excited that she actually has something to share now that's positive, and, you know, she's well enough to share it in a way to where it's respectful. And she's not coming back, you know, to be the I rule the community with an iron fist person.
But how are we supposed to know that? Like, that's like, we have,
because I'm not gonna let her do that.
You said a lot of things.
Okay. I can answer that question, Big. This is how you're supposed to know that. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to give your blessing today and say, look, if people want to trust her enough to give her moment to make amends with you, her moment to prove herself, I don't have control over that. I am not the all powerful, Jesus Christ himself. You guys have to make your own decision. Is this somebody that I think could have rehabilitated herself? And if there is any reason for one of you to believe that, yes, she could have rehabilitated herself, this might be the actual comeback that she's been hoping for and that you guys have all wondered if she would make, all along. It's not like she just woke up, overnight and now she's not this horrible person. Think about how long she's been by herself, having to go over day after day. Why did I lose all my friends? Why was I horrible to people? Why did I lie so much? Why did I steal things? Why did I, trick people and try to manipulate people into scheming? And, basically, Big, the answer to your question is that you have to decide for yourself that if you are willing to give her moment, and you're willing to give your blessing to anybody else who wants to do the same, she will prove to you on her own without me or Swag or anybody else having to intervene. I mean, when Swag says, I'm not going to let her be horrible, I have to laugh because, Big, she's done so much work already that right now when she does come back, which she is coming back, whether you like it or not, she is going to be so scrutinized with a fine-tooth comb and a magnifying glass. She knows that she cannot slip in any way whatsoever. If anything, she has to be the one to try to clean up the rest of the garbage that she's around to try to make sure it doesn't look like she's condoning any of it. I mean, let's face it, if she comes back and she makes a mistake, you don't think 50 people are going to DM her and say, dude, like, whoa, like, come on, bro. You said you were going to be better than that. I mean, she's going to be totally scrutinized. And that's not something that you even have to deal with, Big. When people are pissed off at you, Big, and they think you're acting a fool, you know what they do? They roll their eyes and they go behind your back and they talk shit about you and they say Big's the same Big he's always been. He hasn't changed. He's only gotten worse. So what I'm asking you is to trust that the community knows. They're not little kids. They understand that when someone proves you wrong, you admit to it. And when someone shows that they haven't changed and they're no better, then you use that information to go by. You can't possibly, you don't have a magic ball. You can't see the future. You've got to allow this to happen so that you can say, hey, I tried to be reasonable. I was flexible. I gave her my blessing to try to do what she could, to rehabilitate her, reputation here. I wasn't the standout or the holdout that was throwing a hissy fit saying, not over my dead body. It would have to be over my dead body. Don't be like that. I mean, that's ridiculous. You should be encouraging anybody in this community to try to do better and to work on themselves, including yourself.
Okay. Lot to unpack. First of all, I'm not forcing anybody to not speak to Rhianna. I'm simply stating my opinion.
Okay.
Yesterday, when I was even involved in the drama, the only thing I really was trying to say was, do not tell Cammy how they should feel. Because you do not get to dictate somebody else's feelings. Ever. That is unacceptable behavior.
Let me ask you something. Since you keep bringing Cammy up, which I don't think Cammy is what we're talking about here. I think Cammy needs to get his own help, and he needs to work through his own issues, just like anybody who's been traumatized or hurt or feels like they're in pain about something. But if you want to keep referring back to Cammy, let me ask you something. What do you think about the fact that Cammy was best buds with Rhianna the entire time? And now all of a sudden she's such a disgusting monster to him that he can't bear the thought of being around her in any way, shape, or form. Do you not find that just a little bit far-fetched and phony?
No, what I find it is the fact that we were all best buds with Rhianna until we saw and we finally got the big picture of, holy shit, this person that we thought was okay is very much not okay.
Okay, but do you think that Cammy was thinking that when he came back to Rhianna within 2 months after the cancel and became her best friend?
I think Cammy would have been desperate. When you lose everything, you get a little desperate and look for whoever you can. I know as well as anybody else that is what happened. I tried that with Rhianna too. Rhianna immediately flipped that around on me and sent it to Nick.
Yeah, but you're suggesting that Cammy only came back to Rhianna as being best friends with her because he was losing everything? He didn't lose anything. He came out of that cancel deal completely unscathed.
And he's lucky he did, because if you look in that video, there was a lot of shit on Cammy in there too, not just Rhianna.
I know, but he was willing to use sympathy and empathy for his age and his, I wasn't so much responsible for things to win people over fairly quickly. And then he had no consequences to his own behavior. And I can tell you for sure, Big, if you don't think that there's private messages of Cammy coming clean about he takes responsibility for his part and he actually does find himself at fault for some of that, you're wrong, because Cammy did exactly what he should have done. Cammy came back and tried to resolve things with Rhianna as soon as possible to keep it from escalating any further into something that it shouldn't have been. He saw the good in her. He saw that she was willing to do the work and she was worthy of being forgiven. And the only reason he didn't leave was because the proof was in the pudding, Big. Rhianna was not the same person even after 2 months. And the reason being is because Rhianna was in the middle of changing her ways before the cancel. And a lot of people can attest to that. That cancel came at a really bad time for her because she was just starting to realize what she had done and that she needed to take accountability and make it right. And then after the cancel, she lost the ability to do that. And I don't see where you or Cammy or anybody else, Spiral, I don't care who they are, who died and left you three boss. That's what I want to know.
No one's suggesting we are. Okay. We don't control what people think. We have our own opinions. All we are doing is stating our opinions. If that's a problem to somebody, that's not my job to go and moderate that.
Do you think it's fair for you to base your opinion on what you knew about her 2 years ago?
I'm also basing on the opinion that I had someone speak with Rhianna, and Rhianna basically said, I don't want to talk to Big because I know he doesn't like me. So instead of trying to change people's opinions of her, she's just not willing. She's only going to the people she know will forgive her.
So, Big, when was that conversation that she said, I don't want to talk to Big because I know he doesn't like me? When did that happen?
Let's see. I gotta pull it up. It was the other day.
Okay, so keeping it in context, Big, do you really think that Rhianna wanted to show herself publicly for the first time and go right into having drama with you right off the bat? She knows you don't like her. She knows you're not for her. She knows you're against her. Why would she make it some sort of a thing to try to approach you and try to reach you without having some, leg to stand on? And that's what's happening now. It's not that she's totally canceled you. It's not that she's totally decided you can't be different. It's just that she doesn't want to go to you and create a drama because she knows you're ready for the fight. You're ready for the fight, Big. You keep calling it drama. You keep calling it a debate. It's not really a debate. It's just this is what it is. She's coming back. Rhianna's back. And you can either get along to go along and you can be part of, enjoying her transformation, or you can stay away from her. That's totally up to you. But I'm asking you, Big, to just recognize that you might be the one who misses out. And Cammy, too. Why should Sidewalk miss out on the best Rhianna that's ever existed? I mean, if that's his choice, if he wants to do that, that's fine. But just because they had a little tiff at the beginning of March, a little misunderstanding about, boundaries on treating each other with respect and consideration, that doesn't mean they should throw away a friendship of 4 years. And if they want to do that, that's Cammy's loss. Hey, that's not Rhianna's loss.
Hey, Jen. Can I just talk real quick?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? I wanted to just, I wanted to talk mainly to Big. Actually, no, I wanted to talk to both you guys because I'm listening and I'm kind of hearing like you guys' arguments, and then like I wanted to come in here and be like a median to that. So I think that the whole conversation of everybody becoming friends again with Rhianna, like I understand that that would be kind of the ideal situation. it's also like the least realistic one. If you think about everything that happened with Cammy and Big, it's like you can't necessarily expect these people to kind of change their minds instantly. But another thing I wanted to say is, Big, do you think that would you be okay with a situation where you, Cammy, anybody that doesn't want to have anything to do with Rihanna, would you be okay with everybody just keeping their distance? Because the way I see it is, nobody in the first this community in the first place wasn't some big united group. It's been cliques and groups of different people, and it's been separated. That's how it's always been. And we've all, like, I don't necessarily think there has to be any future interactions between Cammy, Rihanna, or Rihanna and Big if there doesn't need to be. So, like, Big, do you think that it would be okay if Rihanna was in the community but just away from you?
I mean, regardless, that's apparently what's happening. So why is that even a question?
Well, let me also ask Big a question, okay? Big, listen. Elijah is right. There is no reason to believe that you and Sidewalk are going to have a change of heart at this very moment. But what I'm saying to you is that it takes time to build trust. It takes time to repair and heal wounds. I'm sure you guys have some scar tissue build up on a few of those wounds. It's not like they're all open wounds, and that's my point about Cammy. Cammy's trying to make it sound like he's still bleeding, from raw flesh, and I'm crying foul on that. That's totally untrue. Cammy, whether he wants you to know it or not, he forgave Rihanna to a certain extent a long time ago, and he benefited from being buddies with her and having a grand old time on a daily basis with her for a year and a half. And now he's trying to have some sort of influence over others by saying, "Oh, I hate her. I hate her." That's a little strong considering how he's been best buds with her for a year and a half.
His opinion changed on her, and that is his opinion.
Is it okay if I talk for a second?
Okay,
yes, Elijah.
So, I feel like a lot of the things Cammy has been saying have been more opinionated. Like, Cammy, I talked to Cammy directly. I remember the night Cammy had talked in the other meeting. Cammy's was just letting his opinion be known. Like, Cammy didn't want to change anyone else's opinion. Me and Cammy we're talking like we always have, without bringing up Rihanna. That's what we agreed on. And Cammy agreed that, like, it's okay if we talk to Rihanna. It's okay if Rihanna joins our games. It's just not while he's there. And that's the decision we agreed upon. Now, would it be nice for things to change in the future? Of course, but it's not the most realistic scenario, and it's completely fine if that's not what you guys want. So I'm gonna take what I'm reading as a grain of salt, because this is just what I was told. I don't know if you still feel this way, Big. I don't know. To what extent is this information true? But I was told in a meeting, in an earlier meeting, that you had said that you wanted, if Rihanna was allowed to come back into this community, there would be some sort of, like, retaliation for not acknowledging the things she's done.
What I had said is that, and I said this to Nick, because at the time it was very clear that no one in the community wanted her back. It was very little people who were okay with her coming back. That if that was the case, there would be consequences for his actions, and that people would not exactly trust him to immediately flip back on his mind.
So you weren't saying you would necessarily...
I was not saying going to expose Nick. I was not
Okay.
going to come after Nick in general.
I just wanted to clear that up, because I definitely see what you mean. Like, I was worried myself that there would be some blowback, and there's still the possibility of that.
Okay.
And-
Okay. Let me just say something to Big real quick, okay? Now, Big, listen. I know how you're feeling right now. You're feeling like, what the, hell. Like, why am I supposed to be the bigger person here and just have some sort of ability to change, my anger, my resentment? I know there's a lot that's built up with you. But I'm telling you, Big, this is better for you too. This is better for Spiral. This is better for Cammy. You know, you guys can sit around all day and talk about how this is a fractured community. It's so toxic. You know, it is what you say it is. It is what you make it. And the thing is you guys are all years older now. You guys are all years more mature. You should be able to conduct yourselves in ways that is more respectable and more, you know, I mean, the community is what you make of it. And if there's going to be constant fractures and, oh, as long as we're all separated, listen, I'm old enough to know that when you try to just say we're all going to stay out of each other's ways, then it goes right back to he said, she said, oh, I hate that person. So do I. Who are you friends with? I'm not friends with that person. All I'm saying is if Rhianna is expecting some sort of a moment to be forgiven or to be, at least get her chance to prove herself, I think Big should also have that. And just so you know, Big, I've gone to a group of people and said, hey, if Big is reasonable and he, is actually more mature and allows this to happen without him interfering and trying to sabotage it and influence it in a negative way, I feel like you should be given that same opportunity, Big. You need to be able to, put your ways that you've hurt people, that you've cheated people, the things that got you canceled. All that needs to be part of your past as well. Everybody needs a clean slate. And I don't know if you deserve that. I don't know the kind of work that you've done over the last year and a half, Big. But I can tell you this, Rhianna deserves a clean slate. And she's going to get one. She may not get one from Sidewalk. She may not get one from you. She may not get one from Spiral. But there's going to be a large amount of people that support her and that, are proud of her for doing the work. And I don't want you to miss out on what that's going to bring to the community, because Rhianna doesn't want this community to be safe and happy just for her. She wants it to be safe and happy for everybody. But I'm getting the feeling, Big, that you're kind of okay with, the separation and the drama and, is there going to be retaliation? I mean, you guys talk like you're part of the freaking mob. I mean, you're not part of the mafia. Everybody needs to quit acting like they are. It's a bunch of bullshit. Let's all be friends and get along. I know that seems very far-fetched, but over time, things can be, repaired. They really can. You got to have an open mind and an open heart, and you got to be reasonable. And Big, you're not being reasonable if you say, well, I already have heard her say in the past that she would do these changes. She's turned over a leaf every 3 months, over and over again, and nothing ever changed. I get that, Big. I totally hear you. I agree with you. She was not ready to do the work back then. But I'm letting you know now, Big, you need to be a part of this. You need to be a part of witnessing just what a person can do when they make it a priority to change themselves.
If you think the community is going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya, we need to have a talk, because that is very unrealistic.
Why are you so worried about what anybody else thinks or does? I mean, all you're really responsible for is what you say and what you do. And that's
as I was about to say, Rhianna created scars and mental trauma that can never be healed. Those things can never be taken back. Those things are going to haunt the people that she hurt forever.
Such as who? You and Cammy?
I've been hurt from her. There have been other people who've been hurt by her as well. And she's not apologizing to everybody. Okay. And apologizing is not going to fix this. Anytime they are around her, they are going to feel that pain. Do I have to keep her watchful eye constantly? Is she just going to do this all over again?
No. You have my word, Big. She absolutely is not. And I would really hope that you would give her a chance to say that herself. And as far as Cammy's concerned, or any kind of trauma you might still have pain from, at some point, you guys are getting close to being adults. And you have to take responsibility for your part in what happened. And if you're still traumatized and you're still messed up in the head over it, then you two need to go get help yourself. Therapy is a good thing. And
I am in therapy. She said she wanted to gas my entire family because they were Jewish.
Okay, now
is that just understandable? Big, am I supposed to just be like, oh, that's fine?
Hey, Big, you want me to dig up some screenshots from 2018 on you? Because I will.
Okay, what about 2019 when she admitted to cheating on me 4 separate times in a month?
That she what?
That she cheated on me 4 separate times in a month. Or that instead of talking to me like an open relationship would be, she instead went to someone else and said, I hate him so much.
All right, listen. This sounds like a personal problem. Big, you two were too young and too immature to be having some online love affair, okay? I'm just going to tell you how it is. I'm blunt and I'm straight up.
I'm not saying
All
it was a
of
good thing.
I mean, I don't know how old you were at that time, but let's face it, all these little 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds running around thinking they're in love and they're in a relationship and they can trust some rando catfish person on the other end of the keyboard is ridiculous. You had no business being in some lovey-dovey relationship at those ages anyway. I mean, I don't know where the parents are. Where the hell are the parents? No wonder you got hurt, because you were too young, Big. You were too young and Rhianna was too young. You can't have mature relationships that don't explode and devastate everybody involved when you're 13 and 14 years old. You're not even old enough to wipe your own ass properly. I mean, come on. I'm serious.
Okay.
Think about it. You're gonna hold something against her that she said. Obviously, Big. That's a really good example of how horrible she used to be. Those are the exact conversations that made me tell my son, "Oh hell no, you are not going to hang around with this person." She says the N-word. She talks about Hitler. She makes snarky comments that are totally inappropriate, about the Holocaust or whatever. Believe me, it made me so sick to my stomach, I wanted to reach through the computer and strangle her. But, Big, I have counseled this girl. I have actually stayed up all night long, many nights, talking to her about how she has to check herself. And she needs to know what's, appropriate and what's not. And trust me, 3 years of maturity has made a difference. Because she was changing before the cancel. And I don't know where Crawford and Cleric are now, but it seems pretty ironic that they're in the background of things now, because, they weren't squeaky clean either. Like, what the hell? Those two got out of this situation unscathed too. I mean, what they did was not okay. I don't know if you guys have ever had your friend group chat be, iVisioned, but it was pretty fucked up.
I was there for iVision. I'm aware of what occurred.
Okay, so you realize just how below, respectable that was.
At no point are we excusing the actions of others.
Okay.
We are here to discuss what Rhianna has done, and solely Rhianna. She has doxed me. She has gaslit me. She put my face on a picture of Hitler and sent it around.
Okay, so I hear your anger, Big. I mean, that's what I'm saying is let's work through it.
I gotta say something.
Okay, go ahead.
Rihanna did not. I just want to say something. You continue. Rihanna did not put your face on that. That's all I gotta say.
I have a picture of Rihanna sending it,
That
so.
doesn't mean she admitted to putting it on.
I mean, she spread it. Good for her.
I mean, Big.
You want a cookie for that?
Big, you are not going to have any retractors here. Everybody 100% is on board. Rihanna was out of control. She was below what was considered, it's just, there was no respectability with her at that point. We get that. No one's arguing with you about that. But that's why I'm telling you, it has taken her so much work. And she knew she couldn't just come back and say, "Oh, I'm all good now, guys. I should be forgiven for being a total a-hole for 5 years, That's not what we're asking you to do at all, Big. We're asking you to work through your trauma with her. Take the opportunity to tell her this and say, "Look, we may have been too young to be, involved on a personal level. We should have just remained friends. But when we had disagreements or when we were fighting, you were beyond despicable towards me." And then have that conversation with her, because she's going to say, "You're exactly right. I was. But you know what, Big? You were not innocent. You were not perfect. Just like with Cammie. Cammie was just tormenting her between February and March. And we have a list of words that he used to insult her and put her down and discredit her and hurt her feelings. I mean, you guys cannot sit here and say that you didn't fight back with a sharp tongue, because you both are very stubborn as well. And when you fight, you fight. When people are angry with each other, they say things that are hateful. But yes, anything that you're referring to that is related to the Holocaust or gassing people, I still see stuff on Discord that I wish would go away, and, people would mature and, understand that it's not funny to joke about certain shit. But I'm telling you, Big, if you just trust me, I'm a very honest and authentic person. You do not need to be afraid that you're being duped right now. You're not being duped. You're hearing nothing but the truth right now.
Can I talk for a second?
Go ahead.
All right, so Big. So from what I've been like listening to, it seems that like a lot of your hesitation comes from like you not believing that Rihanna. Well, no. Let me not say that. You say that like it's a boy who cried wolf situation. Like Rihanna has told so many lies in the past. It's like has said so many things about changing and whatnot that it's not like what if I don't want to say it's not possible, but what if she's like not telling the truth now? And I understand that, but you have to realize Rihanna is in a position to where she has no reason to lie. And if she is lying, well, I won't want to say she has no reason, but if she is lying, Rihanna would lose everything again. And now I understand, like from what Jen has said, Jen hates when people lie. So, and Jen has been one of the main people talking to Rihanna throughout these past couple months, and
Years.
Rihanna wouldn't want to lose the support of Jen. So, with if Rihanna lied, Rihanna is not in a position of power anymore. Rihanna is not the owner of any group. Rihanna is not a higher up. Rihanna is just a person in the group chat. That's all she is. And if it was found out that Rihanna has been playing some huge game, hasn't been telling the truth, everybody would just leave again. Everybody would disappear just like that, because there's nothing keeping her in the position as she was back then. Like when she had said she had changed all those times, she didn't have to mean it, because she owned everything. It was
Exactly.
nobody was willing to fight her on that. But now Nick is way higher up than Rihanna will ever be, and so Nick could just pull the plug on her contact to everybody instantly.
I mean, Big, think about how much she has to lose now. This is her one shot. You know what I mean? This is her one opportunity. She is not going to risk having the wrath of Jen in her DMs day and night, cussing her out for wasting my damn time. Because I have literally stayed up till 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning all night, many nights. And I have taken the time to send her all kinds of information of places in the UK that she could go get help, and, suicidal type, tendencies would pop up, and I would stay, in contact with her closely through the night, sending her telephone numbers of places she could go get help. I mean, I've invested a lot in this transformation, and the only reason I have is because if something happens to Rihanna, then my son's mental health is not okay. My son's safety is not okay. My son thinks the world of her. He thinks that, she's just the best friend he's ever had, and they see so much, a lot. They just see things a lot alike. They have the same interests. They're both on the spectrum, so they kind of get each other. But my son has a lot of empathy, and my son's been raised to have a lot of sympathy towards people who are underdogs and who are hurt. And I know you don't want to believe this, Big, but she has been hurt. She's been hurt by Cammie. She's been hurt by you. She's been hurt by the people in the community at times. And, she has every right to be able to say, it had an effect on me. When I was in pain, I lashed out at people unfairly. I mean, she has spent nights in tears over lost friendships that meant a lot to her. And she is not going to risk it all, Big, to come back and say, oh, I fooled you guys. I'm back, and, I'm just the same Rihanna I always was. Big, I'm telling you, that's not going to happen. But I do believe that some of your resentment is personal. Some of your anger is stuff that you've held on to so tightly that you're afraid to let it go because you're fearful of the unknown. And I'm telling you, you're going to feel better after you have a heart-to-heart with Rihanna. And I think you owe her that.
I was gonna say something after Rage talked about pulling the plug and stuff, because I wanted to make it known that I am not gonna, Big, I've told you multiple times that no matter if you believe me or not, that I want the best for this community, because like Jen said, we're not gonna be around much longer, You know, we've been doing this stuff for some of us even 5 years, and we're very close to being into college just like you are. And, you know, I want the best for this community, and I've told frankly a lot of you here that I do not want to be like Rhianna was prior to the whole cancel and how she is now, because it's just not a good look for this community whatsoever, and I just don't want that to be a thing again. So like Rage said, she knows very well that if this is all a phony lie and she's lying to us, she's lying to Jen. Number one, Jen is gonna flip out, and I know Jen has flipped out on me, and I can tell you that she will do it. And I will tell you right now, flat out, that if this is a phony thing, I have no issue pulling the plug, and we can all go back to how it was, because I am not going to sit here and have a whole phony thing go on where we're all being lied to. And she knows very well. She knows Jen will flip out, and she knows I will not be happy whatsoever. So I just wanted to make sure that was known. So you can continue, Jen.
Okay, Big, listen. If you end up having issues with Rhianna that you two cannot resolve among yourselves, I will mediate. I will stay up day and night and do whatever it takes to help you guys navigate and work through some of these issues. Even Cammy, because I respect that Cammy did do the right thing. If it had not been for Cammy and Swag having Rhianna's back and checking in on her and being her friend when she was worthy of being friends with, she wouldn't be here right now. And I kind of look at that as owing, Swag and Cammy, I owe them a true, heartfelt, thanks, because it saved my kid from committing suicide. Not just Rhianna. It saved my kid from having a mental health, breakdown. So I know this is painful. I know it's messy. I know it's hard. But that's how you work through things. It's not ever going to be simple. It's complicated. But I know that if Sidewalk really thought about it, he would realize that she is no longer in control or have power over him. She no longer can hurt him the way she had before. He's stronger. He's more mature. He's older. He gets it now. He knows. But he also needs to recognize that he can be toxic himself. And he's very, quick to provoke people.
All right. Let's, before we turn this all about the Sidewalk, because as we said, we don't want to do that. Here's the thing, Nick, is that as Sabbath stated, she has everything to lose. She doesn't have a lot to lose. She'll lose Jen, sure, great. She'll lose Big C, okay. And she'll lose her second chance. But what she has to gain is that if she still holds resentment towards us for believing the video or going along with it and kicking her out, she'll hurt your reputation, and people will no longer trust the decisions you make.
Oh my God!
I'm not saying that's what she's doing. That is just the concern. Is we cannot know for sure. I'm not saying that's what she's doing. This is very well might be the kindness of her heart. I'm not saying it's not.
Big, listen.
Big, Jen.
Big.
I want to. Okay.
Listen, Big.
I want to.
Okay.
Jen, because he put me in there. I want to tell you, Big, that I would not sit here and put all the reputation that I've gained over the past 5 years. You and I both know I've never been perfect. I have sat here over the past 2 years getting major partnerships, getting over 6,000 members in my group. And I'm going to tell you flat out that I would not throw my reputation down the drain just because Rhianna is... It's a Big C thing, Jen. And I'm going to tell you flat out that I'm not going to throw my reputation down the line because of Rhianna. That is the last thing I would do in my life. And I would not sit here in this meeting, holding meetings and having Jen speak to you and having this whole thing happen if I didn't think Rhianna actually changed. I've been around her for almost a year again, and there is a drastic difference between how she acted before and how she acts now. This medication has been a lifesaver for her. And frankly, it was like Jen said, there were points in time before after the cancel where she was frankly, I don't want to even sugarcoat it, that she was going to kill herself. There was multiple times where that was going to happen. So I don't want it to seem like I would just throw my reputation down the line. And I'm not afraid to sit here and welcome her back slowly and surely, because I have a good amount of trust that she's changed, and I will tell you that flat out. Continue, Jen.
And Big, listen, you when you say she doesn't have anything to lose, you're wrong about that. You're dead wrong about that. She has everything to lose. If she doesn't come back and prove to each and every person that she has regret and true remorse for her actions, she is not going to be forgiven. And I know that when you say the things that you do, you don't realize how threatened you sound. You sound like you're somebody who's in some sort of competition with her, and you're afraid that she's going to shadow your status or your popularity. I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but Big, you actually do sound like the reason you don't want her coming back is because she might be a superstar now. She might outshine you. And I hate to say it, but Rhianna is a superstar. She's talented and she's smart and she's highly motivated and she has big dreams for herself, but she has not been able to act on any of that because she was in a severe depression. And now that she has the medication, she can think straight, she has clarity, she has sympathy, and she can treat people with respect now because she's not so over the top depressed, ready to off herself. And she doesn't just, compulsively react to things with high emotion. That medication doesn't let her do that anymore. So what I'm saying to you is just think for a moment about how this is not about you, and how you're affected by her presence. Same thing with Cammie. It's not about you. It's not about how you might have to then, up your own game because Rhianna's back. It's about, does Rhianna deserve, like any human being, to be believed and to be given a chance to prove herself? Whether you want to forgive her or not, that's totally up to you. But she absolutely deserves everybody's cooperation in making room for her to show who she is now. And if you don't like who she is now, Big, then so be it. But I'm telling you, you can reach out to me day or night and say, look, Jen, Rhianna, she's a mess. She's over the top. This is what she's doing. But a lot of what you've been through with her, Big, was personal. And it was on a level of a relationship instead of a friendship. I mean, my God, if you didn't think that was going to be messy, I mean, you were just being naive.
Even as friends, it was still messy. I have images of her when I was in my depressed state because I am someone who is the most understanding of the mental challenges Rhianna faces. And I do know that she has then went and attacked me for my mental challenges despite having the same exact one. So if you want to tell me I need to be understanding, you're preaching to the choir.
I mean, Big, she was despicable. I mean, let's have a toll. Was she despicable? Absolutely. We all agree she was despicable. But I'm telling you, Big, you were not perfect. You made mistakes. It might not be on the same level, but you're still not better than her. There's nobody in this community that's walking around like a saint. You guys have all done your share of shit talking, lying, sharing information you shouldn't, and complicating dramatic situations that didn't need to be complicated. And all I'm asking you to do is show that you're more mature now and show that you actually have a heart. I mean, how cold-hearted does it have to be coming from someone who's been canceled? Who knows what that's like to lose all your friends? I think of all people, you should be the one that relates to it and says, look, I'm back in the community and I'm not 100% perfect. I still make mistakes. I still treat people pretty rudely. And, I think you need to check yourself. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, does everybody like me or do they just tolerate me?
Okay. Since Spike is recording this, I'm just going to make sure it's known. The record is showing that Rhianna has joined the VC.
Yes,
so
because I believe that she should be allowed to listen in and speak.
Listen, not arguing with it. I'm just saying.
I was just telling you in case you didn't know.
I'm sorry, but Zach wants to be in the meeting, probably.
No,
oh,
listen,
God.
No, don't let Zach.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, don't let that.
I would rather jump out a window at this point.
Let's show I'm denying his request.
Zach's
Let
mute
the
button.
record-
Zach's mute button doesn't work very well, so let's just keep him out of it for a minute. But
Don't
Big,
have to
what I
call
you
me.
know, Big, what I want to say to you is that this would go so far and so far more than you realize, because I don't think you realize how people really feel about you. And I just want you to know this would go so far to rehabilitating people's opinions of you. Everybody already has a preconceived, opinion of how you're going to handle this and what you're going to do and how nobody's going to break you and change your mind. And I'm asking you to find it, dig deep, dig really deep, Big. You and Swag and Rhianna and Rage and everybody who can make a difference in this community can really make this a better place for other people to exist, because this drama is old. This is old drama. When you have to dig deep into the screenshots to quote something she said that hurt you from 2018, I mean, really. Let's just recognize that the past is the past. And I can dig up plenty of screenshots of every one of you saying things you shouldn't have been saying. I mean, it's just the truth. Everybody can be pretty horrible at one time or another. But you guys are older now. You're more mature now. You have more at risk. Why would you want to spend the last 3 years of this group who's been so tight knit forever, fighting and fussing and stealing and lying and leaking and cheating and overcharging each other and being so critical of each other's, talents? And, why not let Rhianna come back and say, hey, I want to inspire people. I want to entertain people. I want to show that when you are below, what's acceptable by society and you're at your lowest, you can redeem yourself. And she's proof of that. She has done the work. And I think she has every right to show people that it can be done. Because I think there's a few of you in here right now that probably need to work on yourselves.
Okay. So this is being stated that what am I going to do about it? Here's how I'm going to let you know. Here's what I'm going to say my opinion, and that is it.
Okay.
If you think I'm going to actively prosecute people who are talking to her or actively go after, no, that's not my job. I'm going to state my opinion, and that'll be it. So if you think that I'm going to come after her, try to get in her way, there is no way for me to get in her way. I do not hold that power. I hold the power to have my opinion and to say my opinion. That is it. And that'll be what I do.
Do you understand that your opinion holds some weight in this community? That you actually will influence people with your opinion?
At this point, I have a much quieter voice than those around me. If you think I am the person in this community, you're wrong. If anything, Nick is, and Nick is going to apparently come out in support of her, so why is my opinion even on the table?
I feel like everybody's opinion should matter. That's why we're here today, Big. Nobody wants to not include you. That's why this is all about Big today, because although you have your own issues in the community, people know that if somebody's going to get loud and somebody's going to have a meltdown, it's most likely going to be you. And we're trying to head that off here because you will influence people. If you're walking around on some server saying, I hate Rhianna, she was talking about gas and Jews, blah, 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 that has influence. A lot of people don't know whether or not that was said in 2021 or 2018. And I think, to be fair, you deserve to have a little bit of a clean slate, and she deserves to have a little bit of a clean slate. Because if you don't give each other grace, this is not going to go well in the community. You're going to have everybody fractured. It's going to be toxic. You're going to have people basing their opinions based on what Sidewalk said today, based on what Big said today. I mean, let these people just get to know her for who she is now. And if they choose to say, hey, she's redeemable, she's worthy, she deserves, she did the work, then let it happen. But Big, my whole thing is I don't want you to miss out on that. Why should you miss out on being friends with her when really it might only take one conversation or maybe a night's worth of talking in a private chat between the two of you to really resolve the pain that you feel, the anger that you've hung on to, the resentment, the fury, the rage. I know, I get it. I mean, she was a pistol. She could really hurt people. She was like a sharp knife. I get it. You bled some. My son, he was damaged by her. She was single-handedly responsible for him never drawing again. I mean, he's been hurt by Rhianna. But what I'm saying to you is it's not the same person anymore. It just isn't because of medication. It's because she's been working on herself every single day. And Cammie helped her work through things, and Sidewalk helped her work through things. I helped her work through things, and Big C helped her work through things. Zach has had her back, and that group of friends right there held tight to her, and we weren't going to just let her give up. Because when I say give up, Big, she definitely didn't have any will to live. I can be honest with you about that. And I don't know how you feel about that, but knowing that anybody in this community would be so bullied or so hurt or, have such a low self-esteem about themselves that they would hurt themselves, that's where I draw the line. And I'm passionate about that. I'm not just going to protect Rhianna. If I see anybody in this community getting bullied to the point where it's, basically criminal, I'm going to speak up because I'm a parent. And I don't want one of us to have to, have a eulogy for somebody that was once loved and cared about.
Listen. The point of this meeting is that you want to convince me that Rhianna is a changed person. Is that correct?
I would pay you.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Is that what the point of this meeting was? Thank you. No, that was.
Not only is the answer yes, but I would pay you 100 Robux or whatever you need to just.
I accept payments in US dollars.
Just please give it some thought. Think about all the things that I just said to you. Do you think I would take the time to lie to you or exaggerate any of that?
Listen, I will give it the thought, and I'll send you my Venmo because I do want that $100. And
okay. Deal.
Don't make deals you don't want to keep the end of.
I'll send you 100 Robux. I'm not afraid.
Oh, well, I don't take Robux. I take USD, and I charge very hefty fees. Don't.
Whatever motivates you. I want your cooperation.
I have heard Rhianna's side. I have sat there. When? I talked to her in December, 4 months ago. No, she's not the same person that she was 4 months ago. I'm not saying that. But 4 months is a pretty quick time to change.
Okay, so I've read that conversation. What about that conversation is so horrible?
She saw I was in a dark place, stressed out of my damn mind, and she immediately flipped and gave it right back to Nick.
Okay,
she told me because in those DMs you were constantly saying bad stuff about me. So as a friend of mine, she told me out of concern. That was the only reason she told me. If you if you didn't say anything bad about me, she would have not even spoken to me about it. That's the only reason why she said something to me.
I'm just trying to see what about that conversation was like terrible.
I mean, I can recite the whole conversation if you'd like.
We'd rather not do that right now.
Let me straighten this out for you, Big, okay? You're coming back after canceling her, okay? You're coming back to have a conversation with her, and Zach was involved or whatever, and you're basically down on your luck. You've lost all your friends. Nobody respects you anymore. They've basically canned you, and now you're crawling back with your, tail between your legs. Now, she didn't treat you badly. She wasn't horrible to you. But what she did do was she showed loyalty to Swag because Swag has stood by her very closely and has been a rock to her through this. And there was no way. And she does the same thing with my son. When my son is pissed off with Swag and they're about ready to cut each other's throats, who do you think Rhianna, supports? She basically has Swag's back because you know what? She respects Swag a lot. She looks at Swag as being more of a brother to her than just a friend. And there's no way in hell she's going to let World War III start between Big C and Swag over something stupid. She tries to, de-escalate it. She tries to say, Big C, you're in the wrong. You got to face facts. You're in the wrong. Or she'll say, Swag, you're being rude to Big C. You need to cut your shit, whatever. So she is getting better about the fact that she recognizes drama's no good for anybody. She doesn't want to be a part of it, and she certainly doesn't want to see things escalate between her friends. So at that time, when you came back to Rhianna to talk to her some, she was still in a dark place, Big. I'm telling you, after Cammie left at the end of March, at the beginning of March, Rhianna had a total breakdown. I mean, it broke her. Yeah, she was getting better, and she was, she was a better person, but she was struggling. And that's all it took is her and Sidewalk having a falling out, and she realized that she has to go get help. So I owe Cammie my thanks, for allowing that to happen, because that's the one thing that motivated her to say, I don't want to live like this anymore. So I hope you understand that, yes, when you talk to her in December, that's not the Rhianna we're talking about now. We're not talking about December. We're talking about in the last couple of months, what she's been through has finally come to a head for her, and she's gotten the help that she needs. I mean, she's been working on herself for 2 years, but I mean, you were no friend of hers in December. She had no reason to trust you or to believe you or to feel sorry for you. I mean, you got treated as well as you could expect to be treated in that conversation.
All right. Before I continue, Nick, you are aware of what's going on with Cammie, right?
Record show.
Cammie is currently dancing. He's backing that hang up right now.
Oh my god, guys, it's Chuck E. Cheese.
Yo, it's hey, folks.
Okay, all right. Simmer. Settle.
Nice cut, bro. Look at his cut. Look at his haircut, bro.
Let's settle down.
His hair.
Settle down.
All right, settle
Children,
down. Let's
settle.
continue. Let's
He's like
continue.
a whole different person.
Bro,
Better.
guys.
Oh my god.
Guys, relax, chill. All right. I wanna.
Do you have
I'm gonna talk
anything
for a
to
second.
say?
All right.
You're very entertaining. I must say. There you go.
All right, I'm gonna talk for a second because I had something I want to say also. Fuck. I forgot. Damn. Hold up.
Don't drop this game.
Give me a second. Give me 1 second.
The post. Ta-da. Alright, he's gone. We can continue.
I mean, Big, I know you got a couple close friends that are probably pretty big influences on you. And I'm pretty sure you're probably having conversations with them right now. And what I'm saying to you is don't be peer pressured into not thinking for yourself, because this is important. I mean, I know you probably have a little posse that, they're all anti-Rhianna and all that. But no one can work through what you're holding on to but you. Your friends are not going to be able to heal your pain. The only way you're going to get to feeling better about things is if you and Rhianna resolve things between each other. And then, let the chips fall where they may. If you can come back here a week from now and call me a liar and tell me I exaggerated and nothing I claimed was true, I'll sit for it. I'll listen to it. But I promise you, Big, your mind's going to be blown. You're not going to believe the transformation that's taken place. And I hate to say it, but I owe Crawford and Cleric, a thank you in some way, because, people like Rhianna, people like Rachel and Swag and, everybody that was on the Alliance, they tried for many years to try to make her understand, how her behavior was inappropriate and unacceptable, and nothing seemed to get through. It was just a constant, I'm good for 3 days and then I'm horrible for 4 more days, So I'm just saying that it took the cancel. It took, the loss of all her friends. It took the loss of being able to share her creations with people. I mean, she hit rock bottom, Big, and I don't know if you know what that's really like, but it took that.
All right, can I talk for a second?
Yeah.
Yes, Elijah.
So Big, I understand like a lot of your side of like the debate is coming from skepticism on like what if it's all a sham? Like and I'm not gonna lie, that's exactly how I was a couple of days ago. Rhianna came online and everybody was in the server saying this and that. I'm like, can y'all please be quiet? Because like, to be honest, I don't care. I really don't. And I was getting sick of people talking about it. I was getting sick of hearing about it. And then I got the opportunity to talk to Rhianna and hear like her apology and see how see for myself how things have really changed. And I understand that you don't want to be friends with her. I completely understand, because what you went through, I was not in that situation. I was not in a relationship with Rhianna. I was not as close as you guys were. But Rhianna said terrible things to me, like awful shit. Some of it not even being that long ago. Like I remember there was a screenshot I had saw in March of 2020 of her saying something absolutely awful about me. It pissed me off so much. I was like, you know what? I'm done. And that's like to the point. Even before the cancel, I kind of distanced myself in that group, and I didn't really consider myself friends to be with Rhianna. But a couple days ago, I heard her side of things. I let her apologize, and that was that. Now I'm not saying you have to be friends with her again like I am, because I can tell that might not be what's best for you. It's not what's best for Cammy or some other people, because you guys have been specifically hurt in ways that we can't begin to imagine. But you think you are in a position where you could at least listen to what she has to say personally, rather this be in a DM chat or in the meeting, it doesn't really matter. But do you think you would be willing to let her apologize to you personally?
Listen, I love nothing more than to be friends with Rhianna, have her apologize for everything she did, have her feel guilt and remorse, and have her come to me and say she feels guilty. I would love that. But it's just happened so many times. I can't pretend I can't pretend I'm not gonna distrust her whenever she says anything now. That's not gonna happen. I'd love to go back to being friends with her. I'd love to have her join whatever thing I'm doing and not have to worry about it.
It takes time. People have to earn trust.
Yeah, and I completely understand, because she did that a lot. A
lot.
I didn't say this to anybody, but I was thinking to myself. I was like, what if this shit is just some big joke? And it was and then I realized it's also a lot different in the sense that all those days, Rhianna might have took a break for a day or a couple of hours or whatever, change her profile picture to black. But Rhianna was never cut off from everybody for a year and a half.
That's right.
This is a completely new situation, and it's not necessarily comparable to when she was gone for a tiny amount of time.
But to go on what Jen just said, which was she has to earn that trust, it seems that she's not it's not like she's starting out ground zero, not working with anybody else. She's already on TCs. I'm already getting reports that she's working with ESM already.
Okay, but why does that pain you so much, Big?
Why does it pain me? It's because she hasn't earned the trust. There has been no earned thing.
The trust part is what takes time. It's not that people are trusting her automatically. What they're doing is they're treating her like she's a human being, and they're giving her the moment, the opportunity to prove to them that she's a changed person. And I'm asking you to please understand that you as well have the same opportunity as anybody else to say, I don't trust you. I believe this is just another one of your, antics of pretending like you're somebody different, but you're really not. I mean, you being skeptical is understandable. But what I'm saying to you is that she wants as many friends as she can get. She went without any friends for so long, and then only had a handful of friends for so long, that she recognizes just how valuable friendships really are. And she's not going to just say, well, I want to be friends with these people over here, but I don't want to be friends with Big because Big and I have had problems. She's not doing that. She's had problems with everybody. She's ready to do whatever it takes, Big, to work on her friendship with you, as well as anybody else that hates her or despises her or thinks she's full of shit. I mean, she definitely is not saying, well, I want to pick and choose who my friends are. She's saying anybody that gives me the benefit of the doubt and lets me have a moment to breathe, to where I can prove with my actions over time and her words over time that she's not the same person, she's willing to extend that same respect to that person as well. Because, usually there's two sides to every story, Big. And this Roblox thing being so intertwined with how people get along and why they fight and why they end up not being friends anymore. I mean, Roblox is set up in a way to where there's going to be problems, but you guys are all so familiar with what's acceptable and what's not, that everybody should be able to behave at a much higher level, of respectability and consideration towards each other. It's not like you're all a bunch of little kids anymore. And I'm just saying, Big, Nobody expects you to just get off this chat and be like, okay, Rhianna, let's, say we're friends again. It's not going to happen like that, but don't shut it out of a possibility for yourself, because it really does sort of hurt my feelings that you and Sidewalk, now I don't know Spiral and I don't, have any emotion about Spiral's, position, but when it comes to Sidewalk and it comes to you, I do feel a little bit sad that you guys could actually miss out on all the fun, because this is not a depressed Rhianna coming back to bring everybody down. This is somebody who's happy. This is somebody who has self-esteem. This is somebody who wants to be a good, influence. I mean, there's going to be a lot of fun. They've already been having fun for days on end. And I know that makes you a little uncomfortable, Big, but the thing is some people have an easier time because of their experience or because of the way they were raised to forgive people. I mean, it may not be as easy for you, but I'm just asking you, please, as a favor to me, whatever it takes, just keep an open mind and understand we're not asking the same Rhianna back to this community. We're asking someone who's literally, her brain chemistry is completely a different mental state. And you have to respect that. That took a lot of guts for her to go and try to change herself to that extent.
Listen, if she wants to prove she's changed, I'm more than willing to give her the chance. But I'm not going to just forget what happened previously.
Most of us haven't.
Yeah.
I've been thinking to myself, I was like, should I, there's
And
been
that doesn't
some...
mean she has to have a close eye on her, because at any point this could flip around. And I know she's listening. Hello.
And I want to add that I will never, ever in a million years, I will be 80 and still remember what she has done to me. Because there's times where she has pushed the line. She's pushed the line a lot. And I will never forget. And
I will never forget it.
I will
Because
never.
nobody else has treated me like that.
No one else has done that. But what we can do is focus on the future and focus on the fact that she is really pushing, after sitting here for almost 2 years, to change herself and be willing to accept that she was very wrong, and she did. And I think it's different personally, because every time that she would apologize in the servers, it would just be like an apology, being like, listen, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. She has sat here and apologized personally. Anyone who has forgiven her here, you've received an apology personally to you, not some shut out, stupidly written apology that was directed towards everyone and posted in announcements that she owned.
Big, it's that kind of statement that you just typed on here that has intimidated her to the point of total paralysis. That's the kind of attitude that keeps people from apologizing, because there were no words that she could come up with that would make a difference to any of you. I mean, be honest, Big. Really, let's face it. There were no words on paper that were going to be able to reach you. And she knew that. She knew she had hurt people so below the belt in such a deep and, lasting way that it was going to take more one-on-one, sincere, specific words to address each person. Because let's face it, everybody was upset for, a random amount of reasons. Everybody had been, tormented by her in their own way. And she remembers that. Some stuff she had blocked out herself. It took, people having conversations with her to remind her of things that she may have said or done that she even didn't remember. But what I'm saying is it takes one-on-one conversations to get to the point where you even want to hear what she has to say. No words on a piece of paper, Big. We're going to make a difference to you.
Listen, I'm not saying she should ever apologize by a piece of paper. I'm saying that the individual apologies could have come a lot quicker.
I know, but she wasn't ready yet.
The way you're saying she wasn't ready yet. I'm not arguing that she wasn't ready yet. Great, she's ready now. But are we ready now? That is the question.
I'm ready.
Well, you better get ready, Big. Better get ready, because it's happening whether you like it or not.
See, now that's intimidation, but all right.
No, it's not. It's just being blunt, and I'm being totally straight up.
Listen, I just told her I'm more than happy to hear out what she has to say, and I'm more than happy to see how this goes. But if anything of sorts goes wrong, this is going to be a bigger issue than it was previously.
And I'll agree
Because
with you. Because I'm
Yeah.
giving her the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving her the chance. And if she blows this up, she will never, ever hear the end of it from me. And she will
Yeah,
never, ever hear the end of it from Jen. Because I'm
Then
giving her the
why
chance.
are we yelling about it?
I'm not. I was just making my point.
No, we're not yelling.
I'm not
Big,
yelling.
we're-
I'm just making my point. I'm just raising my voice because I make a.
But
When I
Big,
raise my voice.
I'm
I
kidding with you,
have to be
Nick.
straight
I know.
up with you. You know, like we can't pussyfoot around anymore. We can't be like, oh, can we get everybody on board? Is everybody okay? Is everybody ready? No, F no. Not everybody's going to be ready. But it's important that the people that she cared about at one time, that she hurt so badly, that those people specifically give her the opportunity to have words with those people and try to make amends. Because without that, it doesn't matter whether or not everybody thinks one way or another. I mean, you guys have some sort of influence over these younger people that don't even know her. They didn't know of her. They haven't had any run-ins with her. They're like, Rhianna, we only know Rhianna from what's been said about her. I mean, enough is enough. The girl's been punished long enough. People don't even do this kind of time for in real life, crimes. It's just, I don't think you realize how long 2 years is. And I think that you need to at least find it in your heart to say, you know what? If she screws up, then at least I've got that. I can say, well, fool me once, fool me twice. You're not
Listen.
getting duped.
I'm going to hear her out. I'm
Okay.
more than happy to do that at this point. But let it be known, if she does screw up, I will be the one sitting there saying, you know what? I called it.
Now, what are your expectations
And you
for
will
her,
have
Big?
you will
Like,
have
Big,
every
would
right
you
to.
like her to stop shit talking? Like, what are the things that you would expect her to do to try to move forward with you specifically?
Listen, she's going to do what she thinks she needs to do. And if it's
Okay.
enough, it's enough. And if it's not, it's not. I'm not the one who gets to tell her how to do that. She needs to
Okay.
figure that out on her own. No one should be helping her. That's her mistake, her thing to clean up.
But do you think that you could be on your best behavior and not be a total, hellion, with this situation? Do you think you could try to be fair and be understandable and hear her out and be respectable?
Listen, I'm going to be the typical person I am.
Is that good or bad?
Let's see, that's the question I can't answer.
Well, maybe those are the questions you need to find answers to. Are you a good person or are you a bad person?
I consider myself a fairly decent person, but if that's
But
my
only,
opinion.
but only to certain people or to everyone?
The people I care about me. That's what matters.
So I agree that sometimes when you don't feel cared about, that you tend to take the, I'm going to be a bully so I don't get bullied stance. I get that. When you don't feel cared about or respected, that's when you do lash out because that's normal. But what I'm saying to you is you're not going to get that from Rhianna. She's not looking for a fight. She's not looking for I was right or you were right. She's looking for truth. She's looking to be heard and validated and understood. And I think she really deserves that, especially from someone like you that's been through very similar situations. And, this group of people right here, you guys could have a lot of influence going forward to make this community a better place. I mean, half the reason the older people in this community, laugh and make fun, you guys are like the butt of the joke, is because everybody argues so damn much and fights so damn much. I mean, you guys really need to kind of get it together these last couple of years, don't you think?
Listen, you are preaching to the choir of people who think the community is a shit show. I've said it for a very long time. Any people who are in my group chats will tell you. I say it a lot. This community is a shit show.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, though.
And to go on the fact of we only have a couple years left, trust me, I'm aware. I've had that conversation with many people, including official Roblox staff members. It's not going to change what's happening.
Well, let's value that. Let's value that time that you guys have left and try to find a mutual respect with one another and quit lying to each other, quit stealing each other's shit, quit leaking stuff, quit overcharging people for stuff, quit trying to take credit for stuff that you didn't have anything to do with. I mean, the amount of stuff that goes on in this community just among this group is enough to make people's heads spin. I mean, calm your ass down, all of you. I mean, lift each other up. My God, help each other out. Motivate each other. That's what Rhianna wants to do. She wants to come back and show people not only can you change as a person, but you can hone your craft and work on your abilities and your gifts and your talent. And she's done with the Miss, I'm Miss Critical and I'm going to put you down and cut you with a knife. She's not that person anymore. She really wants to come back to try to help people get through the last couple of years with as little drama as possible.
And you know what? I'm ready for her to prove that, but
That's really good
she
news.
has to put in the work to do that, and I'm not
She
going to
will.
just let that happen
Well,
automatically.
she will. You have my word. She will. And she doesn't want you to be the one person that doesn't get that opportunity. As far as Sidewalk goes, he has to make that decision at some point himself. If he wants to lay low and
Let's leave this. Let's
Okay.
leave Cammy out of this. Cammy's doing. I don't even want to know at this point.
Okay, well, he's a big part of this, so I don't know why we have to leave him out of it. I'm just
Because
saying.
he's not here to speak for himself, and that's
I
not
agree
fair
with Big
to
on
speak
this
for.
one. If he can't speak for himself, then let's just not bring him up.
Okay.
And the only times he was on here, he was what caused.
Yeah, he's up there goofing off. I mean, he doesn't take this seriously.
Yeah,
I hate to say it wasn't. I can't say it wasn't funny. To be fair.
I know, but we asked everybody respectfully not to do that, and then look who does it.
Yeah.
To be fair, he was not
wasn't here to hear that. He wasn't here to hear that.
He wasn't here when you asked.
Okay.
He came in late too, so that's another.
Well, I'm just saying, I really, really will think a lot more of the people who dig deep. You know what I mean? Go back to what your parents taught you. Go back to what you learned in church. Go back to what your spirit is telling you.
Let's not make that religion.
I mean, I'm just saying, whether you're religious or not, your spirit is talking to you. And if you lay in bed at night and think, what makes me the authority or the saint in the situation? I mean, I'm serious. Nobody has the authority to determine that someone else is going to be forever, held responsible for their worst moment in life or their worst mistake. People are redeemable. This cancel culture shit is dangerous, and it's going to suck every one of you into it over the next 15, 20 years if you're not careful. I mean, really. People are not meant to be perfect from the day that they're born. It's a process. It's a journey. You got to learn as you go, and people need to be right there beside you to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're going to learn from your mistakes. And she has.
Anything else? Anything else I need to?
I don't think so. I appreciate it, Big. I'm glad that we had a good talk. And if I'm telling you,
It sounds like Big C has COVID, but okay.
But I'm available if you need to talk further.
I'm more than happy. I know how to reach out if anything needs to be discussed. Is there anyone else with something that would like to be brought up? Nick, do you have any more comments?
If Jen doesn't have anything else to say, then I'm just gonna continue on with what I was gonna say. If we're all in agreement. Oh, we're all good?
I mean, I just want you guys to know I have faith in you. I mean, Big, I have faith in you. I have faith that you're gonna do the right thing, and you're gonna, put in the effort that it's gonna take to just hear her out. That's all I'm asking. Just hear her out. And then over the next couple of weeks, don't you think her true colors are gonna pretty much, put it, in perspective regardless?
Listen, I will hear what she has to say, and I will take it from there, making the decision I think is best for those around me. That is it.
Okay, well, how about you just make the decision for yourself and let other people think for themselves?
Thank you for your opinion. Nick, floor is yours.
So I guess Jen and Big got what they wanted to say. I don't really have much else to say except if everyone is on the same terms, then I'm going to be eventually start allowing Rhianna to come back when she feels comfortable, and frankly, it's just going to be up to all of you, whether you want her in your games or not, whether you want to work with her or not. But at this point in time, I think the community is starting to become more comfortable around her, and I believe that is her right to be in a community if she feels that it's best and that community welcomes her. So I don't really want to force her out, and I frankly have forgiven her, and I believe that she should be welcomed back now that we're on the same page. And it seems that people in meeting chat are also kind of agreeing, and she has joined Chalks. people have been very excited to talk to her and see what she's been up to. She's joined Oscars today, and people were very excited to be around her and talk to her. And it seems that it's going very well. So if no one else has objections to allowing her to join, then I believe that since she's feeling, she's been giving all these apologies out to certain individuals, that she should be allowed that right to be welcomed back. So if no one has any objections, then
I just have a question.
Sure.
I haven't got my apology yet. Do I have to make like a reservation for that? Do I just
I think she's typing up something.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Viral.
I was just
I
making
think I gotta get a lightning lane for that one.
Hey, Big,
$30, man.
Big, let me remind you of something, okay? You're at the top of the list right now. Like, as of this meeting being over, you're at the top of the list for her to have a discussion with you. And I hope it really goes well. I mean, you have my best wishes, honestly. But I just want you to remember, even after talking to Rhianna, it's not expected for you to walk away from that conversation feeling like, okay,
no one is going to expect. I'm not gonna 100%. That's not. Well, I'm aware. I understand. Just another comment I wanted to make earlier, because I remember Jen had mentioned that I was a part of a Rhianna hate squad. We're more of a Bob Chapek hate squad.
I didn't say that.
Little worse. Just a little worse. All right. Anything else?
I don't know what you're referring to there, but
I know you don't.
Okay.
But the people I know,
Oh, no, I know.
aware.
I know the Chapek thing. I'm just saying, I never said that you were part of a Rihanna.
She said I'd hang out with people who also hate Rihanna. So.
Alright, so I'm just gonna have one final call. Does anyone have any objections about what I have planned?
I object to Nick being involved.
I hate you too. Going once, going twice. Going once, going twice.
I object to Nick having a soul.
Alright, well, if no one has any objections...
You're the reason why my two arcade machines
Can we
got
go
leaked.
now? I haven't ate all
Okay,
day.
stop, please, I didn't...
Pub,
You're my employee! Get
never
the jobs
eat.
right now before I fire you!
But I'm trying to do something.
Sentence. God
Come on,
damn.
No,
Guys, let it. Hold up, guys. Let him finish. Let him finish the sentence.
I want to go eat.
Sentence.
Alright, one more time. No one has any objections.
I object. I didn't get any snacks. I was told there'd be snacks here.
Oh my god, alright, if no one has any objections,
I was told the same thing.
Alright.
Joe was told there would be a buffet. Joe was told there would be a buffet here.
Catering at this event, and I'm very disappointed.
Joe was told there would be a buffet.
I have to ask somebody. Shush. I'm speaking, Nick. I'm speaking now.
No, I don't care.
Nick, you intentionally invited Aaron. Aaron, the floor.
Aaron, go for it.
What? I'm just here playing my game, bro.
Go for it, Aaron.
Since
What do you
Aaron was
want me to do?
specifically, hold on. Since Aaron was specifically invited by Nick, I'm sure he has some enlightening things to say. Aaron, the floor is yours.
I don't have much to say, actually.
I hate you,
no.
Nick.
Go on, Aaron.
Fuck you.
Was that his words?
Is that all you said?
That's all I want to say.
Alright, perfect.
I think that Aaron did good. Aaron's words were
Take my staff up for mischief.
Alright, I need to catch Rachel up on things, so if no one has any objections, as the owner of VSM Entertainment, today's date is 4/30/2022.
Is it? Are you?
You stupid rat!
Wait, guys, remember when he put the wrong date, a date that didn't even exist?
Dude,
I've been
no,
corrected
everyone
into the
everyone
wrong
shut, everyone shut up. We don't talk about that.
And then he did it again.
VSM Entertainment, I hereby announce that. Pub, you're
Wow.
I'm removing you.
Well, I guess
You're
That was very good.
Sorry.
Remove again.
As the
I guess it's over. Bye.
Alright.
Oh my god.
Can I give my sentence?
Give me my
I will
roll.
repeat this
Give me my
sentence.
roll.
No, we're
Give
gonna
me
let this
I
meeting
will
run another
repeat
hour.
the sentence for the next hour if you don't let me continue. Thank you.
We're gonna
I
let this
want
meeting
my
run
roll.
another hour.
Let's see him repeat it. Let's see him repeat it.
No. Alright. As the owner of VSM Entertainment, on today's date of 4/30/2022, I hereby announce that it is confirmed that Rhianna will make her return to this community. As we have no objections, I have to catch Rachel up because there are a lot of things Rachel has missed on, so I'm gonna have to call Rhianna and not Rhianna, sorry, Rachel, and alert her about these things. But as of now, if no one has any objections, you're free to go. I have to go talk to Rachel for a long period of time. And
I am just.
oh my god. Okay, you're all dismissed.
I wanna help out.
Yeah,
with
school's
my
out. School's
I'm
out.
gonna go to the bell. Just ring, guys.
Nobody.
We can go.